I have a completely different view as you do. I think Threads is most likely going to suffer a very slow and painful death, largely because this isn't the only acquisition he's made this year. This isn't the only company that's likely going to go into the Facebook graveyard. Where I think Threads has a lot of issue is really just Mark Zuckerberg's personality, really. He acquires company, but he's not someone who innovates ideas. He doesn't. Look at all the recent acquisition. He acquires companies, and right now he's really trying to compete. Before he was competing with TikTok, and now he's trying to not compete. No, he was mimicking TikTok, and now he's mimicking Twitter. But every time he mimics a platform, it's painfully obvious to everyone who uses it or doesn't use it that Facebook is just cloning or copying this other platform. And what makes the other platform so unique and original, whatever he creates lacks that originality. So when you go on Threads, now, if you haven't used Threads yet, definitely do check it out. I'm going to help Mark get a couple more subscribers, viewers, customers, whatever. Threads is missing a lot of features that Twitter has. Likewise with all the Reels features of Instagram and Facebook, it's not TikTok. It wants to be TikTok, but it isn't. And ultimately, it doesn't perform nearly as well as the platform that it's copying. So that's number one, complete lack of innovation. And number two, it to me screams a sign of desperation. To me, it really screams desperation that he's trying to do an all like Hail Mary attempt to reignite his advertising platform, because Threads, we all know, this is just another ad platform. Leveraging the same user base that he already has. So he's trying to appeal to advertisers that, hey, look at me. I'm Meta. I have all these different advertising avenues for you. Join me instead. He's trying to become a larger and more powerful advertising platform, but it's cheap because these are new users. These are the same users on Instagram. So as an advertiser, I'm turned off.
So you brought up a good point, which is he doesn't innovate. He finds good products and makes them better. So as far as I'm concerned, it's 2023. Facebook is still getting more users. In 2023.
Is it getting more users?
Years. It's still, the upward trajectory is still increasing. He's taking products that standalone might be inferior products, but he makes them better. And I think it should be noted that Threads has only been out for under a month. These features they're going to continue coming out, and currently it does not compete with Twitter. It doesn't. There's more features in Twitter. So you're right on that front, but once again, under 30 days. Give his team time and they can make a beautiful product that people will use. And another thing, so you can say what you want about Facebook moderation, but he's managed to make a pretty safe and engaging platform with billions of users worldwide. So he already knows how to moderate. Now, what he's probably going to be doing is he's going to be taking former Twitter users who are unhappy with Twitter service. There's too many mean things being said. They don't like it. And fair enough, there are things on Twitter that are vile, quite frankly. He's making a platform ultimately, and he said it himself, that's going to be user-based, safe, and a more polite version of Twitter. I think that has the potential. I think that is a unique enough selling proposition where he might be able to snag a pretty large share of Twitter users who are tired of Elon and his hair plugs. They want something safe.
Once again, I disagree with you. I see where you're coming from, Ryan, and it makes a lot of sense why Threads would be a success. But I'm looking at the recent failure, which is the Metaverse. Notice how we don't talk about the Metaverse anymore.
We don't.
How much they pour $10 billion a quarter into the Metaverse. He was trying to make something work. And he thought that just because he has all the technology, the best talent, and just the money in the world, that he could make it work. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? The reason why I think the Metaverse didn't work was honestly just a lack of originality and a lack of anything that people actually want. I'll give you an example. The Metaverse and just having a digital world isn't a new concept. I mean, it goes all the way back to the 90s, where one of the first games that really took off was Optima. Was yeah, that thing was called Optima, where it was this huge online community, and that, in a sense, people could buy properties in that game. That was, I would say, the early stages of a digital world with people interacting and digital properties being worth anything. He's trying to recreate that, but in a space that is completely devoid of features, life, activities, anything. So, and I feel like what he did with the metaverse, he's going to make the same mistakes again with threads because I'm seeing those signs already. It's a shell of a platform. It copies another existing service, however, much more limited. He only put in, I think, like a handful, like 20 something developers to make threads. Now, doesn't mean more developers will make a better product. I don't know. But seeing the massive failure of the metaverse, I can't imagine the money and even the existing user base could save threads.
You're talking about Mark Zuckerberg's track record, and when I'm looking back at his track record, it's nothing but W's. So once again, one of the greatest acquisitions, and we're getting a little caught up in specifically Mark, but just to put into perspective, the Metaverse guy could be 10, 15 years out. So and keep in mind, he pulled back his large investment into developing the metaverse. Meta still spends $1 billion a month developing the metaverse. So it hasn't completely pulled back on innovating in that direction. And, you know, in 10 years, you might be eating those words. The metaverse, you could have a pair of Quest 3 or Quest 2 headset on, and we could be having this whole conversation in the metaverse. So
we should make a bet today. See who's going to eat our words in 10 years.
I'm not betting against the guy, especially when he's got a long-term time horizon for developing these products.
If anything, I would actually not bet against Elon Musk because he's actually the one with a much stronger track record of building original ideas, getting them off the ground, and actually executing something original that people actually want. He's not known for copying or mimicking. And when he took over Twitter, he came out with a bunch of new ideas that was honestly like radical. It's still radical today, actually, but it seems to be gaining more popularity. So if anything, I would say Elon Musk is the person that I wouldn't bet against.
I think Threads has 1/4 of Twitter's active users after.
But they're just Instagram users, though.
30 days.
They're not new users.
You know, I'm just seeing Mark over here acquiring more customers and using his current platforms to siphon more customers into his own ecosystem that he's created.
Okay, do you think Threads and Twitter can both coexist, or do you think users are going to choose one or the other?
They can coexist, but Mark and Elon are going to have to fight in a cage. I'm joking.
Oh no, I would pay. It would be the first time I ever pay for like pay-per-view.
It'd be epic. I think yes, 100%. I don't see Threads going anywhere, and I don't see Twitter going anywhere. I see both of these companies existing as long as my life, as long as I live. I don't see either of them going anywhere. So I think they're going to be forced to coexist. And we've already seen Twitter clones. We've seen YouTube clones, and they're still around. Rumble, all these alternatives. I think they're going to be able to carve out a niche.
Rumble, I've never heard of Rumble.
True Social, they're out there. So
yeah, but these are knockoff brands, like knockoff Nikes. They exist, but it doesn't mean people use it.
Yeah, I mean, there's very specific use cases. So yes, the very few people do, but enough to continue the product.
Okay, I think Threads has 6 months. Personally, I think Threads has 6 months. So we're not going to see an immediate implosion of Threads. Like they're not going to announce we're going to stop Threads. Threads is done. No, I don't think we're going to see that. But what we're going to see instead is, so Mark Zuckerberg claims that he's only going to have ads when they reach 2 billion users, I believe, or so.
That's what I heard.
Honestly, not hard to do given you're just importing Instagram users over. So I don't really hold that promise to any high standards. But I think that Threads will suffer a slow and invisible death where it gets to a point that it's not able to compete with Twitter anymore. Or at some point, he's going to realize that the advertising opportunities just isn't there because Twitter is coming out with monetization for influencers.
The creators,
Yeah, creators. So Twitter just rolled out a program that will compensate and pay creators for tweets, for sharing memes or whatever, that's a game changer. I don't see Threads coming out with anything, and should Threads come out with anything, it will either fall into either it's too late or it's just a copycat of Twitter, an inferior version of that. So slowly, Meta might just stop or slow their investment into Threads, and it's just gonna lag behind. For Threads to compete with Twitter, I think they gotta invest as much as they're investing into the metaverse.
Once again, I think you're incorrect, Kai. Respectfully disagree. So you're right. Twitter has more features than Threads. Once again, Threads is very, very new. It's a new product.
I'm gonna disagree with you in advance.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Catch it while it's early.
I'm
Okay.
gonna make a reservation for disagreeing.
So, part of me, and this is largely speculation, but Threads wasn't unleashed as its standalone product. So to create a Threads account, you have to, you're right, have an existing Instagram account. So what I think the eventual goal, and once again, just speculation, is Threads isn't even meant to be a standalone product. It's going to merge with Instagram to be kind of a all-in-one digital communication platform. You have your short form text, and then with Instagram, obviously, you have video content and imagery. So I see Threads more currently. I see it as a standalone product, but eventually I feel it will be kind of a parasite on the underbelly of Instagram. And we'll see what Mark does with Facebook and all those users. He might keep that separate. He might merge all three together. So it's early to tell, but you're underselling Mark. Selling him very short, Kai.
I don't know.
I heard he's a great guy.
Okay, so I think we agree that we're never going to agree on this topic.
Probably not,
I
no.
think Twitter is going to dominate. Threads is dead. Like, Threads rhymes with dead, okay? There's no way that is coincidence. Threads literally rhymes with dead.
Yeah, you make a very good point, but
Twitter rhymes with big hitter, right?
I can't disagree.
Call me conspiracy theorist, but okay, now introducing the Marketers Gone Wild segment, where we talk about marketing ideas and strategies just don't work, and you got to stop doing these things. Ryan, what are some of the most abysmal Google ad practices that marketers got to stop doing?
A terrible practice known as SKAGs, single keyword ad
That just
groups.
sounds bad already.
Rhymes with
Tags.
scabs. We're talking about rhyming words with disgusting things. What we had 2020, 2018, this is a little bit more popular, but we still see it today, which is single keyword ad groups. And what they are is it's how you structure your ad campaign. And you have your campaign, and then you have your ad groups. And then each ad group has ads associated with it. And single keyword ad groups was essentially marketers and people running Google Ads campaigns. Each ad group had only one keyword. Now, generally for a Google ad campaign, you want multiple keywords. One keyword, you want multiple keywords in the campaign, and each ad group, you're going to want multiple keywords. Why? Well, you want to keep a simple campaign structure. You don't want to have, a million different ad groups with, one keyword in it and, 3 or 4 ads in those ad groups. That just means you're spending way more time than you need to be doing tracking the results of those ad groups. So marketers, I kind of think that they figured out that they were just wasting time with SKAGs, and they just basically structure the way I do it and the way other expert Google Ads campaign managers run it. Is they structure it by topic. So you structure each ad group to a specific topic. So let's give an example. So let's say you operate a pet company, pet supplies, and you have a ad group for each specific product. Now, what would normally make sense is to have an ad group for dog leashes, and then you have various, short dog leash, leather dog leash. And then you can kind of, as long as it's very similar, it simplifies the whole process. So instead of having one keyword split across multiple ad groups, you have multiple keywords in one ad group. So you can track results better. You can allocate budget easier. You don't need to look through a million different things and scroll through your dashboard. It's all very much simpler. Why is it better to do it that way? Because the higher leverage opportunity to optimize your Google Ad account doesn't lie in managing a bunch of different ad groups. It lies more in finding your target audience, testing multiple headlines in your ad copy, testing your landing page. These are far more high leverage opportunities for a digital marketer running a Google Ads campaign. So being able to know what opportunities to look for and pursuing those rather than maintaining a complicated ad structure. So that's just been a nightmare for any Google Ads expert who's running a SCAD campaign in 2023. Just stop. You'll sleep better.